We got time for maybe one, maybe two more topics. We're going to keep this an hour and a half. So
fucking Reva.
Yeah, Reva, bro. And the reason I want to ask this is for that exact reaction you're having, Carlos, because I'm wondering if collectors even care. Because this has been something that's been low stock for at least a couple days now. And almost, that I've seen anyway, no one has been talking about it. No one has really been talking about the fact that a Grand Inquisitor and Reva are almost, they're low stock, they're blue screen. So my question is, do collectors care? And I guess that's already the question we know the answer to, because it wouldn't be blue screen if they did. Because it's probably such a low pre-order number for both of them, unfortunately, despite how good the figures look. The characters for most people, I feel like. So I want to ask, people out there, are they considering pre-ordering this? And I'll put it in a poll. Are we considering pre-ordering this based on the low stock? Do people want these? Because these figures look great, but I guess it just depends on your love for the character. But Kiko, I want to start with you on this one. What do you think? Do collectors care about these low stock figures here?
No one should care about a low stock figure at this point, honestly.
There we go.
We have not had any representation that if something goes low stock or even waitlist or even sold out, that's not coming back. I mean, how long ago was it? Just last show when you were talking about the DeLorean? I mean, here we are again. It seems like every single week we're like, oh, guys, blue screen. Oh, guys, it's waitlist. It's never coming. Do we need to care about this figure now that it's waitlisted? Did we miss our... Everyone.
That's why I love talking about it, because I know that this is going to happen
every single time. It's like, hey, let's pick our figure of the week that's gone waitlist that's going to come back. Someone even just talked about it in the chat or in the thing. They're like, hey, my waitlist electro converted. No shit, what a surprise! But like, happy for you if you really wanted that figure. But no, at this point,
look at Nick.
What's Nick saying?
I bet J&D's next statue is Reva. Come on, bro. We moved on from that topic.
That's pretty good. But I think people will be sleeping on the Inquisitor. For as much as people did not like his portrayal in Kenobi, it's still the Grand Inquisitor. And I feel like the sculpt is really good. The silhouette for this figure is even cooler. Some people, take it or leave it. The Reva figure is really good too. I mean, it's a great sculpt. And if they end up doing the rest of the Inquisitors, you're going to probably wish you had these. But these are going to be in stock. They're not almost gone. We know that. They are not almost gone. So if you want to pre-order it, sure, go ahead. And if these don't become available, we will have a conversation. I will apologize. I will figure out some way to help offset your cost to find you one, because they're going to be available. I just do not believe it.
We're going to see, Kiko. We're going to see. Sideshow's probably listening to this, and they're probably like, yeah, fuck that Kiko guy. We're going to make an example out of him.
Then do that then. That's the communication that I've been talking about. Let me know then. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see. So, Marco, what do you think, bro? I know it's your chance to be positive for the evening. What do you think, dude, about this blue screen here?
Negative.
In terms
Nancy.
Yeah, Carlos, he does it intentionally because you wanted to go first season and put you last. So I'm going to save you
I see that
right here.
Yep.
But in terms of like, do collectors care? I know I care a bit personally because it gives me a bit of anxiety not knowing the rules, right? They're keeping us on our toes. It feels like intentionally, whether folks want to say, oh, this is not Sideshow playing games or Hot Toys, limiting the batches. It does feel like a bit of a game that they kind of want you to be uncertain and uneasy. So then you hit the pre-order button for a figure that you really want. So I would say, a lot of folks care. Should they care? Probably not, because if it was a figure you didn't necessarily, need in your collection right away, then probably you're okay to let it go. But I do think these are the exact type of figures that Hot Toys should be focusing on limited runs for. And I don't completely understand their economies of scale. There you go, right? I don't know how much they have to sell of these figures to, recoup their costs or make a profit. But if they did more limited runs on these, I think they'd become more desirable. And, the Hot Toys market would start to heal a bit more. Okay, for the Darth Vader, put out a bunch of Vader, as many Vaders as you can print, because that's going to be a desirable figure. But for these two, limit them. Either put a number on it or make it so that they sell out before they ever hit in stock. I know for when I started collecting, which wasn't that long ago, but the Director Krennic and the Mud Trooper, those went out of stock before I believe before they hit, right? Mm-hmm. And so, well, there you go. Perfect. Just like the Mud Trooper.
See, you're right on the track, Marco.
There you go. So, right, and that built a bunch of, no, not at all. That built a bunch of hype around those figures that could have gone the other way. They could have been peg warmers because, all right, they look good, but people didn't necessarily care too much for those versions. But because they were limited, I think it like built up the hype and folks wanted to chase them. Obviously during COVID was a different time than, the market we're experiencing now, but I think I would limit these. So I would say, should we care? Not necessarily, but it does cause some anxiety, but limit these overall hot toys.
Well, it's really interesting, and before I get to Carlos, I'm gonna go out on a limb here just a little bit. I'm not gonna say this definitively, so I'm not gonna go full rogue here. But and Carlos and I have talked about this. As far as what the signs for a Grail are, people may laugh. Reva kind of meets them if the head sculpt comes out as good as, besides her not being a beloved character by a lot of people, but she is beloved to some. And for the people who order her, she is beloved to them. So I think Reva and even Grand Inquisitor could be probably, and we'll see Kiko, but probably such a low batch that if Reva's head sculpt comes out looking as good as it does, and she's never probably going to be in this outfit again. So this is going to be a very unique look for her. And maybe if she improves over time and people start to like the character more, and this is such a limited quantity figure, this could become a chase figure at minimum, because it's one that not a lot of people slept on, and they're gonna be like, oh man, maybe I did want that Reva. That could happen. So I don't know about Grand Inquisitor, we'll see. But Reva, if that head sculpt comes out looking as good as the prototype, and maybe people start to warm up to the character a little bit, I could see her becoming something.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I want to make Carlos wait a bit longer here. But Mario was correcting me. He's right. Krennic was in stock for a little bit and then went out of stock. He said a few months. I don't know that it was that long, but that built some hype around the figure.
Yeah. It wasn't too long, but yeah, maybe a couple months. I'm not sure. But Carlos, what do you think? Fill us in on your thoughts on this one. I'm interested to hear this.
What's your question again? I just want to make sure I'm answering it correctly.
So this is a blue screen setup here with these two. Do collectors care? Because no one's really talked about the fact that these are blue screen. Maybe people are just tired of Sideshow doing this, or maybe they just don't care about these figures. That's what I'm wondering.
If a Neon Tech Iron Man went blue screen, does anybody care?
Probably
I don't
not.
think many people care.
That would probably never happen.
So these are in the same boat. So if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, then of course you care about these. But majority of the community, I don't really think people care about these characters. It's funny because I love Iron Man. We all know this. So if there's like a super rare Neon Tech, I'll be like, damn, that's interesting to me now. But I'm just one person who would really care for this. And this is kind of the same thing. Deep down, I really wish the Neon Techs were never made. It's kind of like the same thing with Grand Inquisitor and Reva. I just don't feel like there's enough, demand for them, and they could have focused more.
That's good though.
No, I'm not saying no. I didn't say
they're good looking figures.
Good. Yeah, I didn't say that. I'm just saying they could have, put more. Maybe I don't know. If they don't have so many pre-orders, they can actually focus on better quality for their Doc Brown, and maybe make Shang-Chi, with less man boobs. Maybe, if they're not so backed up, they can do other better things. So I don't think really people care. These are just one of those that, unfortunately, like what is called Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah, Johnny Silverhand.
Like one of those things where like they just got made, and it's like, I don't understand why it got made. So like a Neon Tech Iron Man.
Well, I was a little surprised Reva got made, but at the end of the day, I am glad she got made, because for the people that do want her, I know Lael's a big fan of her character, and there are other people out there who love Reva. So I'm happy that they are getting one. It's just it's not for me. And I don't think most collectors are going to go for Reva, to be blunt. Like I don't think
there's also collectors out there that love the Neon Tech, but at the end of the day, it's like, dude, if you're going to make these, make them, but first get your shit straight when you can actually focus on other things. So I don't really think these are really going to matter. Dude, if Shang-Chi and all these other ones are going to sit, these are going to sit too.
I think these might slide under the radar a little bit for people.
I think you're right, Will. If they make the other Inquisitors, though, then you'll see a display that someone has like a bunch of Inquisitors. You're like, damn, I kind of want this now. So that could cause some FOMO in the community.
But I'm almost starting to think that maybe these are so unpopular that they are not going to be discounted because they're not going to last long. I don't think they're going to be in stock forever, because Sideshow probably knows we're getting very few orders of these things. And I remember talking to him at the time, Mark from Alter Ego Comics, the owner. He was telling me, he was like, yeah, the Reva pre-orders have been super low. He was like, not quite as low as Eternals. He's like, everything Eternals is like the record on the site for not moving. But Reva is in that conversation. So I think it's one of those where, if you want this figure and you love the character, that's great. I don't think you'll be able to wait for a discount for this one. I don't think that's maybe.
What was also a limited figure that was pretty good? Quicksilver. What? No one cares about Quicksilver, bro. And he died.
Oh, the Age of Ultron one? Yeah.
That's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
exactly.
figs. Great
Really,
head sculpt.
Kiko, nice.
What a great head sculpt.
And again, nothing wrong. Like, again, this is not a slight at anyone who loves these characters. That's great. I'm just pointing out the simple reality that these are not popular figures, apparently.
Oh yeah,
And you're not going to be able to pick them up for a discount, probably. So if this is blue screen and you do want these characters and like them, you probably need to pre-order them, I would think. Because I don't think Sideshow's going to want to hold stock for these.
No, I'm saying like, look, man, if you have 100 Revas, I don't give a shit what you collect. That's fine. If you have 15 Grand Inquisitors because you want, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm just saying, I think majority of people don't see this as a must have, and I don't think people are going to be rushing to get these by any means. But collectors can collect however they want. Doesn't mean that these are just in the same boat of Neon Tech Iron Man, where I don't think majority of people care.
Yeah, and as much as I love my sequel figures, a lot of people feel the same way about those, right? So they might feel that way about Kylo or Rey or whatever. So, and I love this figure. So at the end of the day, if you love them, who cares? But I'm just pointing out, when you're making purchasing and collecting decisions and whatever, and space and budget, you got to factor in the terrain, I guess you would say. So,
Right.